Welcome everyone to another episode of Follow the Light Music Review. My name is John De Laurentiis, and this is episode 13 in my series album review. And today we have an exciting album review, one I've been waiting to do for a while. And this is for ECHOVERSE's new album, their second album, Fall Towards the Sky. So before we get into that, I would like to encourage you to please subscribe to the channel. Please share the video, comment on the video, and also hit the like button. And also remember to ring the bell so you can be notified of new content that is added to the channel. And additionally, make sure you check out the Facebook page for Follow the Light Music Review and follow that, where I post content related to the videos that are coming, and then also other things, some albums of interest and some music videos and other content there as well. So make sure you check that out. Facebook, Follow the Light Music Review page. All right, so again, ECHOVERSE-Fall Toward the Sky is the subject of the album review today. And before we get into an analysis of this album and all of its songs, let me give you a little bit of background of how I discovered ECHOVERSE. I first discovered them when they were running a Kickstarter to fund their first album, Whispers Between Worlds, which I have right over here. And I have this one on vinyl too. And that one opens up like that, digipack. And I clicked on the video on that Kickstarter, and the song, Not Like the Other One, was there. And I listened to it and I was instantly hooked. Here was progressive rock music that was delivered with passion, expert musicianship, and lyrics that were crafted in a way that delivered a biblical message clearly and poetically rendered. I loved what I heard so much that I set about promoting the Kickstarter campaign on a bunch of Facebook groups because I wanted to see this album reach its funding goal and get released. It was too good for it to miss the mark on their funding. And of course, the rest is history. It did reach its funding and it came out. So when I finally got that album in my hands, I was enthralled with just how good it was and how talented these guys are. I loved having new prog rock music to listen to. I grew up as a huge fan in the 1970s with all of the prog rock forefathers like Kansas, Yes, Genesis, ELP, to name a few. And that kind of music gave me great joy. So when I found out about this new prog music that was anchored with biblically inspired lyrics, and then found out about it and heard the whole entire album, that gave me great joy. Whispers Between Worlds became a regular spin on my CD player and then on my turntable when I got the vinyl version, and it went on to be named my #1 favorite album of the year 2024. I also had the pleasure of being a guest host on Area 312 Rock and Metal Vodcast with hosts Kent Schreiber and Rex Schmetzer. When they brought the ECHOVERSE members on the show, I had turned them on to ECHOVERSE because it was so good. I was buying copies to give out to as many people as I could because I wanted to spread the word about how great this album was. And so they brought the band members on there, and it was everybody but Visual Cliff, Fall of Echoes guitarist Rob PEREZ that was not there that day. He was not present on the show, but I later went on to interview him for my channel here. So I'm going to put the links below the description so you can check out my interview with Rob PEREZ, and you can also check out the Area 312 Rock and Podcast episode with ECHOVERSE. So to say that I was excited that new ECHOVERSE was coming this year, I mean, all of 2025 went by, and I'm like, I need more ECHOVERSE. And of course, they were working on this second album, and you can't rush greatness. So I was enthralled to finally know that in 2026 we were going to get some new music from ECHOVERSE. Fall Toward the Sky, like I said, my most anticipated album of the year. So now it gives me great pleasure to offer my album review of this new project. And if you haven't seen, there's been a lot of mainstream outlets, prog mainstream outlets, that have been giving this album reviews, really good reviews too. So if you haven't seen them, you can go onto Facebook and follow ECHOVERSE there, and you'll see some of the postings on that. But it's getting reviews, it's getting out there. And song-wise too, the Radical Rebirth song is getting noticed out there as well. It's the opening track here, which we'll talk about in a minute. So let's look at the vinyl and the CD version first before I dive into a song-by-song analysis. I'll show you first the vinyl. This is my vinyl copy, number 32 of 100. Back cover there. And we pull it out. We have this beautiful gold color here, kind of a swirl pattern there. And we get a nice insert inside here with all the lyrics and some pictures of the band, which Rob Perez on guitar, Doug Bowers on bass, keyboards, probably some guitar as well. Kyle Graves on lead vocals. KG Graves is as he's listed here, maybe to avoid some confusion with the other Kyle in the band, which is KYLE FAGALA, who is the drummer for the band. So nice insert here with the lyrics. Couple things to note. There is a CD bonus track, which is not on the vinyl. And there is a little difference with the sequencing of the songs here. We have 10 Plagues as the second song on the vinyl version, but on the CD version, it's Philosophy Abounds as the second thing as well. So that's the vinyl version there. And this is the CD version. Okay, and this is one thing I would say that I'm disappointed on with the CD version is no lyrics, no booklet, and no fold out. Like the first one had a fold out with the lyrics. You really need to have the lyrics because the lyrics are very important to see how great the lyric writing is on here. This is a band that I think really should be, I know they did this independently, both of them, which is wonderful. They had another Kickstarter for this one, and it reached its goal. But I would really love to see a band like this get on a label like Rox Records, get a jewel case, a booklet with pictures, all the lyrics in there would be wonderful to have, and also give them a wider distribution. You know, a label like Rox Productions has international distribution and can get their products in Targets and you know, places where you wouldn't necessarily find the album on a regular basis if you're doing something independently. But obviously that's a band decision, and I'm just happy to have the music. But I really feel like one of the really glaring exits or detractions here is that I don't have the lyrics there. Fortunately, I have the vinyl version, so I can follow along with the lyrics there. But the bonus track on here, of course, is not on the vinyl, and there is no lyrics obviously on the lyric sheet there because it's not there. But minor little complaint, but doesn't detract from the fact that the main thing about this that is great is the music that you're going to get here. And I think the cover is really cool too. Fall Toward the Sky, you know, really good graphics here, really nice in here. Yeah, also, like the vinyl has, you have some pictures of the band, which you don't get here either on here. But let's move on from that and get into this album song by song here. All right, so the song that opens the album is a song called Radical Rebirth. This opens the album with a great riff, followed by a great bass rhythm. This track, like Whisper Between Worlds opening song, Not Like the Other World, draws you in with its proggy rock. Some great keyboard flourishes and Kyle's tasteful drum fills lead the song into a slab of ear candy that has an incredible chorus that's going to stick in your head the more you listen to it. Goes a new heaven, a new earth, no more deception, break the curse. A new heaven, a new earth will come together. It's radical rebirth. Graves has continued to mature in his lyric writing, Kyle Graves here, as throughout the album, his thought-provoking verses weave the Christian message in a way that also can appeal to those outside the faith and prayerfully bring them in. Rob Perez's guitar fills here also complement a great start to the album. This is followed by a song on the CD version. Now, remember, it's a little different on the vinyl, like I mentioned, is Philosophy Abounds. And speaking of Rob Perez, his opening guitar solos and fills prove that he is one of the finest guitarists in Christian music and underrated for sure. His guitar tones and his playing on this song elevated into the stratosphere. Doug Bowers on the keyboards here brings a proggy mood to the opening, and they also accent well the song's chorus, which takes a phrase like Philosophy Abounds, not a very typical album title or song title, and turns it into an indelible hook here. What can I believe? Will I ever see? Time is running out. Philosophy abounds. All right, and this song gets its inspiration from Acts 17. Next is 10 Plagues, and this opens with a famous line by Charlton Heston from the movie The Ten Commandments, a perennial movie that you see on the TV. I have a deluxe edition of that I got years ago, just a classic movie. And it says, it would take more than a man to lead the slaves from bondage. It would take a God. The song then segues into a very proggy intro before it moves into a more commercial rock groove with some nice accented piano touches from Doug. The song recounts the oppression under Pharaoh in Egypt and uses a narrative style to tell of the 10 plagues Moses, through God, afflicted upon Pharaoh and his people. The bridge effectively has Pharaoh saying, "These plagues are answering my sin." A crunchy guitar riff leads the song back into its catchy chorus as Kyle provides some masterful drumming, as vocalist Kyle, or KG, delivers a conviction-filled vocal performance. Just a great song that takes that whole narrative and puts it into a great proggy song. Then, The Serpent and the Schism. All right, this tour de force of a song is firmly planted in all the best elements of progressive music and is absolutely one of the highlights of this album. It features a lengthy and sprawling opening with Perez twisting frenzy out of his guitar. The song comes to an abrupt stop, and then it fades in with some atmospheric keyboards that bring chills to my spine. Every time I hear it, it's just like, it like takes me into another dimension as it builds up from there, and then it gets into some chopping guitar strums before at the 4-minute mark, the song's lyrics begin that are penned by Bowers in this case here, that assess the loss of true faith in the world as the deception of false religion takes over. Some lyrics here of faith will rise up to encourage doing right in their own eyes. All right, and of course, you know, in our today's modern world, you can see that faith being diminished in a lot of ways, and even within Christian circles, compromising the scriptures and what they clearly say, where things are promoted to appease people rather than to change their life and make them repent. They trying to make easy, and they're promoting a false Christianity, not a biblical Christianity here. So what a perfect song, very timely for today's world. It's an absolute epic a song with great musicianship that astounds in its execution of impressive musical motifs that bless the heart and soul of the listener. Just fantastic song. Then the next song is called Gold Bars, and if one could call it a ballad, this is the band showing their slower side here, offering a slice of beautiful melody-infused acoustic guitars that open the track and remind me of the beauty of some of Steve Hackett of Genesis fame's gorgeous musical passage. Steve Hackett, of course, with the band Genesis up until the Trick of the Tail album. The Trick of the Tail album is my absolute favorite Genesis album. And Steve Hackett, fantastic guitar player. And this is what I was reminded of by those opening acoustic motifs here. The song then folds in some jazzy bass and tasty guitar fills before heading back to the opening melody. There is a nice jazzy guitar solo around the 3.5-minute mark, and when the song reaches the bridge, it underscores the push and the pull of desire when our eyes fall on to social media that turn on our wanters, right? You must have this, that persuasiveness trying to pull us in and say your life is incomplete if you don't have this. And this is reflected in the lyrics here. Every click, every post, I need it all, I gain the most. What's mine is mine, what yours is mine. The song effectively, at the very end of the song, quotes the scripture, what good is it for a man to gain the whole world and lose his very self? So very powerful message here. And then the album closes with Fall Towards the Sky. On the vinyl, it does have a bonus track, which we'll talk about in a minute. This title track is another epic prog rock track that will simply blow you away. It opens with some lovely piano and Kyle's pleasing vocals drawing you in. The song continues to build up as it moves in its many movements before the volcanic of heavy guitars explode into a juggernaut of musical excellence, highlighted by one of Rob's most expressive guitar solos that leads into a head-shaking rhythm. And Bauer's keyboard flourishes here as Kyle sings with panache about the difficulties we face in life, yet the presence of God is there waiting to bring healing. The lyrics in this chorus here are some of the most creative written about this, and the line where we get the title of the album, Fall Towards the Sky, is here. The tears we cry fall towards the sky. What a fantastic line when you think about it. The tears you're crying, when you're crying, they're falling down, right? But they're falling towards the sky when you realize that God is taking notice of your tears, and they're actually going up to heaven where God is counting those tears and keeping those tears and answering prayer when you reach out to him. So fantastic way to put this. Great lyrics here. The song also features some of drummer Kyle's most intricate and percussive drum beats here. Keyboard solo fills also elevate the song. This song and The Serpent and the Schism are not only two of the standout tracks on this album, they may well be two of the best prog rock songs any band has recorded in the last decade. Yes, those two songs are that good. You got to check them out. If you like prog rock, you'll be blown away by both those tracks. The whole album, of course, is great, but those two tracks in particular are my two favorites, and I just think are just highlights. And I was blessed to be asked to be a part of the video, the fan reaction video of the Fall Toward the Sky. So I'm in there briefly. You'll see me with the headphones on, and you see a lot of other people that are, giving their first reactions to hearing this song. Okay, let's talk about the bonus track. The CD contains a bonus track called Here Today, Then a Mist. This is far from filler. The song is a nice capstone to the album, offering a lilting, proggy pop song that features pulsating bass lines, nice vocal harmonies, marvelous guitar fills, and a strong backbeat. It underscores the brevity of this life and how important it is to recognize this in the scope of eternity. It features a very proggy musical breakdown midway that brings to mind the music of Genesis. There's a part in there that really reminds me of the kind of the earlier Genesis proggy stuff rather than the later more commercial pop stuff. So all in all, let's wrap this up here. My final thoughts on this album: as with all prog rock music, you need to take a dedicated amount of time to absorb all its many faceted musical avenues and to fully appreciate the bounty of musical excellence here. The band is firing on all cylinders, showing us that they have not suffered at all any sophomore slump, but have maintained their high bar of musical caliber that deserves to be heard by a wider audience. This album is every bit as good as their debut and leaves the listener wanting more. This is definitely one of the best albums of the year so far, and shows the quality music. It shows that quality music in this age of AI musical blurrings is still here to be experienced and to bless others with. So kudos, brothers, on producing another gem. This gets an easy 5 stars out of 5 stars. I highly recommend everyone to purchase a copy before you miss out on this jewel that will shine into your heart and soul and make your ears rejoice. 5 stars without a doubt. So check it out, ECHOVERSE-Fall Toward the Skies. I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think of this album if you have it, and if you haven't, go out there and you could stream it. It's on Bandcamp. You can listen to it before, but I'm sure as soon as you listen to it, you're going to want a physical copy in your hand. So glad that it's there in both formats, CD and vinyl, to enjoy. All right, that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your support of the channel. And as always, I encourage you to follow the light that shines out of the darkness. God bless everyone.